First of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who watched my first video last week. As a lot of you know, I did the project over last summer, but this time I want to keep it going every week, and it really means a lot to everyone who watched it. And if you can just pass it on to anyone you think would like it, you know, get them to subscribe. Any views to me means so much, and just thanks everyone for taking the time out to watch these. Okay, so there was a project that Zach Galifianakis, who most of you will know from The Hangover, all those sort of films, you know, Due Date with Robert Downey Jr., very furry and beardy. He was in a film called R.I.P.D., which is with Reynolds. Unfortunately, Zach's left the project, and they've now got Jeff Bridges in talks to join this film. Very different to Zach, a lot older for starters, and their comic, you know, sort of styles are very, very different. But it's quite interesting to see how he play alongside Ryan Reynolds, especially as Zach and Ryan are a lot nearer in age groups. If you guys let me know what you think, I'd be really interested to know. A lot of people on my Emu page have been quite excited about it, but I don't know, they're very different, and I think it will really change the tone of the film from what they were originally going with. It's based on a comic book by Peter Lenkov and is about some dead New York cops, so quite interesting, very dark, and I think obviously after Christopher Nolan's Batman, a lot of these graphic novels have been coming to the forefront as, you know, big projects for movie production houses, so definitely one to look out for, and let me know what you think about that Bridges casting. Now, I know a lot of people have been asking me about Bill and Ted 3. I know it's a lot of your favourite films back from when you were younger, and for me definitely it has a massive place in my heart. Now, I've just found out that the script is completed thanks to Alex Winter, who tweeted, and he said that he's just got the script and now to read. So that's all the confirmation that we need, and I think it's going to be so interesting. I'm really worried about how they're going to skew it, because obviously we haven't got Rufus anymore, because unfortunately the actor who played him died, and the fact is obviously they're now a lot older, so the idea of them going forward in time as obviously school kids isn't going to work, and I can't see them having kids in it, because again that's going to then set up a further franchise. I don't think that Keanu Reeves would want to do that. But Reeves revealed last September that Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, who actually wrote the last two films, they were trying to get something together, so it's quite safe to say that the two of them are behind that script, so quite promising that it's not going to be a sarcastic, sort of satirical look back at the original, but that it will be fresh and it will still be very tongue-in-cheek and pretty funny. But I think regardless, Bill and Ted have got such a massive following that however they skew this, however the humour works, however they decide to incorporate other characters, and obviously without Rufus, I think it'll work, and I think Keanu Reeves for this project can definitely bring in massive box office numbers. I'm also really glad that Alex Winter's back, because this is kind of his main thing. I mean, obviously he was in Lost Boys, but this is the project and the films that most people know him as. It would be great to see him back to acting, because he's been working on TV adverts and jingles, so definitely a welcome return for Alex Winter. There's no release date yet for Bill and Ted 3, but I'll keep you updated as soon as I know any more. So I told you last week how I was upset about Ryan Gosling not being cast opposite Johnny Depp in The Lone Ranger. Well, Armie Hammer, who you guys are all going to know from The Social Network as the Winklevoss twins, well, he's now in talks to join it. He's got a few other projects at the moment. He's just joined Tarsem's Snow White project as the Prince, so he's obviously got that at the forefront. That's going to be a massive project with Julia Roberts and Lily Collins, so I don't really know when the filming will start for this. Armie Hammer would be interesting. I'm not convinced that he'll be the one that has the role eventually, but we know that he's got brilliant comic timing, as seen as his very sarcastic characters in The Social Network. But I don't know. As I said, you know, Disney's a bit all over the place with the casting rumours for this, so Gosling's out, Hammer's potentially in, but I'm not sure. I'll let you know as soon as I find out who will be with Depp in that. Now onto the troubled Three Stooges project, which has been going on, the casting saga has been going on for such a long time. Originally we had Jim Carrey and Benicio del Toro as potentials, and it was honestly going to be like, you know, the best cast, the film that everyone was really looking forward to. All these potential Oscar nominations could come out of the woodwork. Del Toro dropped out, Carrey was no longer attached. It all went a bit wrong, really. We've got Will Sasso and Sean Hayes from Will and Grace being cast as two of the Stooges, but it was just that final one to find. But a relative unknown, Chris Diamantopoulos, he's just been found, and he's looking as the front runner to play Mo. So fingers crossed for that. I think the project's going to be a bit doomed now, because, well, not doomed, but there's not these massive A-list stars, and that was the thing that was so amazing about this project. There was these massive people, it was going to be a massive box office success. Carrey, he's huge. Del Toro, I mean, he's not you know, he's not a massive box office draw, you're not your Will Smith, your Tom Cruise or whatever, but he's a fantastic actor and people love and respect him. So that was obviously going to be brilliant. Now, not so sure. Jane Lynch, she's just joined as Mother Superior, and obviously Glee is massive and people love her. Not just from Glee, obviously from the Frat Pack movies, you know, your Judd Apatow, 40-Year-Old Virgin, all that. But I think it might miss its target audience a little bit, so the marketing is going to have to be insanely tip-top for this, so I don't know, we'll have to wait. Right, so Arnold Schwarzenegger. As a lot of you know, I told you a while ago on Emu that he is back to acting. He tweeted and he said he's back, and the office started flooding him. Now, CAA, his agency, they have dropped a massive rights package on lots of different production houses, lots of different producers like Sony, Universal, Lionsgate. They want him back as the Terminator. Now, Fast 5, the latest in the Fast and Furious franchise, has done really well at the box office. So the director of that, Justin Lin, he is being courted, potentially, and probably number one at the moment, as the director for the new Terminator film. Somehow I can't quite see the credits saying from Justin Lin, the director of Fast 5, quite as it says James Cameron. But he's obviously a new and upcoming guy. He's got a lot of talent, he's got a brilliant vision, and this could really work. He's obviously grown up watching people like James Cameron, and he must be really interested to have even considered this. So it's just kind of seeing whether it's going to go 3D or not. I think maybe being a James Cameron baby, it could do, and everything seems to be nowadays. But maybe Lynn will take it a different route, and maybe he'll just stick to the original thing, because Fast 5 isn't 3D, and that's quite a shock. That's one of the only films been released in the last few months that hasn't got a 3D conversion. So, could have a bit of faith in him. I think it's definitely worth waiting to see what he does with the project. Let me know what you think about Arnie coming back. Terminator Salvation obviously left a very bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and as much as I love Christian Bale, and he's one of my favourite actors, the film as a whole, under McG, didn't do great, you know, in the fan base. There was obviously a lot of overshadowing with the whole Christian Bale on set rant, but I think we've got to give it a chance. Obviously Bale won't be back. I'd quite like to see him and Schwarzenegger, that could be quite interesting. So, Justin Bieber. 2 words that strike fear and dread into most of your hearts, I'm sure. And I met my first 14-year-old girl this week who didn't like him, and I was shocked. After Paramount's massive success with Never Say Never, which was Bieber's massive concert spectacle / biopic, they've decided to give him a chance, to give them a bit more money, turning him into a bit of a cash cow here, by pairing him up with Mark Wahlberg. Do we feel sorry for Mark Wahlberg, or is this going to be a good pairing? Now, recent press pictures of Bieber have shown him playing football with, is it Barcelona or AC Milan? And he's been playing basketball. He's obviously a really sporty guy, he loves all that kind of thing. And the film would be about street basketball. So we give him a chance to show off a bit, make all the girls swoon, and you know, give him a chance to flex his acting chops. And you can't really blame the guy. He's come from nowhere, literally obscurity on YouTube, and just blown up. You've got to face it, he is going to be huge. We're never going to escape from him. Now, this is a really strange one. A guy called Suaneth, who is a pre-visualisation effects specialist at Fox, yeah, he is working on a new Zorro project, which is set in a post-apocalyptic future. Now, this project is under development of Fox, and it's known as Zorro Reborn. What do you think about this? This is a really different idea. Obviously, it would be really dark, and the whole dark things work really well for Batman under Christopher Nolan, but he didn't change it, he didn't push it into the future, he still kept the bare essentials of the comic books. He kept it in the right time, he kept it in Gotham. Now we've got Tim Miller, who is a visual effects specialist on a lot of Fox projects as well, and he was pushed up and he's now directing Deadpool. So it's obviously something that Fox have really thought is working, and we can't really knock them for trying. And I think Ryan Reynolds especially, he wouldn't have committed to a project so wholeheartedly if he wasn't 100% with the director. Suaneth worked on the pre-visualisation on films such as The Matrix, some of the Narnia films, and also the X-Men. So we can't knock him for wanting to try something, wanting to go to the next step. And obviously with all the sort of futuristic things within those Marvel films, and The Matrix obviously, which set the bar, he is definitely in the right kind of field to do that. If he saw it from The Matrix and can then follow it through, he's obviously got his head screwed on, he's obviously seen how it all works and the progression, he understands the technology. And I think, to be honest, if they're going to get anyone to do something so crazy, so bonkers that even I'm thinking, you know, who's going to go see this film, where's the market, how are they going to market it, who's going to play the character, then he's obviously the right kind of person. Now, I love this bit of casting. So Ben Kingsley, Oscar winner, you know, Gandhi, he's absolutely amazing actor, Schindler's List, etc, etc, I could go on. He has joined The Dictator, which is Sacha Baron Cohen's new film, along the same vein as Borat and Bruno. Obviously been in Sexy Beast, which he plays a very, very gritty character in, which he definitely shows a bit of comedy in that, and it's dark, so we can't say that Sacha Baron Cohen isn't slightly twisted and dark and sick in his comedy, and I think that Ben Kingsley, because of his experience on Sexy Beast, would definitely fit, and I can see that working. It'll be very interesting to see what kind of character he plays. I don't know a horrific amount about it yet, but obviously the more I know, the more I'll tell you. But I just can't wait to see them together. I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant. He and Sacha Baron Cohen, who I have to admit I think is a fantastic actor, I think they're going to be great together. And it will show people that Sir Ben's not just this thespian, which he's best known for, but that he's got a lot of strings to his bow, and that he really can surprise people, as can Sacha when he pulls out a straight roll out of the hat. So, as well as Sacha, really looking forward to seeing him in Martin Scorsese's The Invention of Hugo Cabret, because that's definitely a more straight roll. Now, there's no doubt at the moment that the hardest working person in Hollywood has got to be Jeremy Renner. He is literally everywhere. He's got Hawkeye coming up, and if that wasn't enough, obviously, you know, being part of the Avengers, he had to have his little cameo in Thor, and he's also got, you know, he's just been cast in the new Bourne film, Bourne Legacy. He was nominated for an Oscar in both The Town and the previous year for The Hurt Locker. He's huge. As well as that, he's also just been announced as doing a voice for the new Ice Age film, Continental Drift, alongside Jennifer Lopez and Drake. So, as well as that, and fitting in his role alongside Gemma Arterton in Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, he's got to fit in this new role where he's just founded a new production company called The Combine. Now, Renner, not happy with just setting up this new production company, The Combine, they've decided that their first production, their first big film, is going to be a Steve McQueen biopic, with Renner starring. Somehow I don't quite see how Renner's going to fit all these roles in, but The Combine being a production company, you know, that's just something they're looking at doing right now, so it's not necessarily something that needs to happen right now. He's got time. As I said last week, I don't want people to get sick of Renner. He's a wonderful actor who's just completely blown everyone away in the last few years, and I don't want these millions of films he's doing to jeopardise that. However, I think it's a great choice for Steve McQueen, and it's not necessarily set in stone that he will play McQueen. Obviously, his production company will want that to happen, but there's still time. Now, lastly, my absolutely favourite bit of news this week. I found this out today. I'm going to go on about stuff I went on about last week a little bit. I went on about this amazing film called The Fall by Tarsem, which I was just blown away by, thanks to my friend Alex Carr. And I found out today that Lee Pace, who plays the main part in that, he's just been cast in The Hobbit. Literally cannot tell you how excited I am about this. Peter Jackson put on his Facebook that Lee Pace has been cast, and he's playing King Thranduil. So he's the Elven King, which is a huge part, and something that Lee really, really deserves. I know I went on about him last week, but I just think he really deserves this A-list boost. And Peter Jackson said that he saw him in The Fall, and he's been wanting to work with him ever since. Okay, so to wrap up for this week, I'll leave you with what trailers and what posters and images I've got over on Emu. We've got posters and images wise, we've got Green Lantern, got some new posters for that. I've got another horrific X-Men poster, which words don't even need to explain. 21 Jump Street, a nice little image of good old Jonah Hill. And then I've also got some brand new pictures from Breaking Dawn, if you like that kind of thing, and Spider-Man. Trailer-wise, I've got The Devil's Double, which you need to keep your eyes peeled for. Looks amazing. It's got Dominic Cooper as the main role. He plays two parts. He plays Uday Hussein, who's Saddam Hussein's son, and he plays a guy who was mistaken for him. We've also got Transformers 3, which is complete mayhem expected, and then I've got two new X-Men trailers, which are great, which means that those posters, don't have to worry about that marketing stuff, and also the new Harry Potter one. Save that till last. It's fantastic. I know it's going to be in 3D, but I think that's fine for the last one. It gives me shivers. I'm just so excited for the final film. And then pop over to my blog to watch my funny Friday video, which is Kiddie Fast 5, which is about a 5-year-old kid who wrote the script for the new Fast and Furious film.